Nelson here, along with Connor Listoka. This is 372 pages we'll never get back. This is the podcast where we read books that we probably aren't going to enjoy. Connor, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Mike. I survived an encounter with a skunk this morning, but other than that, I'm eager to...
a rare thing to be able to say as you start a podcast, like, yeah... Trapped a skunk this morning. How many podcasts can you get that?
Yeah, I think Mina Kimes on ESPN often starts her podcast that way before talking football, and then this one.
And I asked you off air, any concern about getting sprayed? I mean, look, we've all seen enough cartoons to know that's pretty much what skunks do, right?
Yeah, to answer the question, yes, there was, of course, concern. I wasn't going into that, but like, well, I can deal with this. Like, I'm Grizzly Adams. I can handle this type of thing. I'll just huff it all in and expel it over my neighbor's fence like Paul Bunyan would do. Of course, I was concerned. Lauren was back far enough to take a picture. I assume she thought like the cloud of skunk scent would just waft slowly towards her like in a cartoon, but it was mostly, as they say, it's more scared of you than you are of him, which in this case would mean it was quite scared. But so Night of the Skunks will be coming soon from Guy N. Smith.
I was trying to think, in one of our Riff Tracks movies, Buffalo Rider. He does encounter a buffalo. He rides a buffalo for sure.
Sure, it was no "You Are a Shark." He does.
Yeah,
ride a buffalo,
lots of
promised.
Animals though, but I don't think he ever tamed a skunk.
Right.
There were lots of
the guy who was like willing to ride a buffalo and float down a raging river on a raft with a raccoon was like, that's where I draw the line. Yeah. I don't work with kids or skunks.
Yes, and skunks. By the way, before we get into our book, and maybe this is on topic, I don't know. Spray that stuff directly out of their specialized anal glands. So just try to avoid skunks, I think, is the lesson here. Well, I'm glad you survived it. No tomato juice bath for you. So good.
But yeah, we're doing Guy N. Smith's. Someone pointed out that I kept calling him Guy N. Pierce last time, so that's embarrassing. That's to the noted Memento actor. But I went through and looked up other Night ofs, because Night of the Crabs, but it's a very popular construction for movies nowadays. But
yes,
I went through and found a whole bunch of other Night ofs and made a few up myself, and I wanted to see if you and our listeners in turn could possibly identify which of these are real and which ones I made up.
Shockingly, I very recently saw a Night of that I will talk about. It might be on your list.
Maybe it comes up.
Bridget and I watched it, and shocking. But I also noted King Crab.
Okay.
Put me in mind of, I believe it was an old like Letterman bit from way back when he would just talk about the kings around New York City, like Falafel King.
Oh, sure, King Stallman.
So every now and then he would update on that there's a new king that we have to pledge our fealty to, and then show the lame sign. But King Crab reminded me of that.
Sure, King Crab. You could imagine his sun-bleached bus stop ads.
Yes.
King Crab, it's better to know me and not need me than to need me and not know me. Bail bonds.
King Crab, he has at the front desk, there's one of those wooden bowls with those mints that nobody ever takes. Like, oh, God. King Crab, you got to get a new presentation here.
King Crab still somehow knows where to get dot matrix printer paper.
All right, I'm ready to take the test.
Okay. Coming out of the gates with a softball, Night of the Lepus.
Oh, yes, of course.
How about Night of the Librarians?
Oh, boy, that sounds like a Russ Myers or something. I'll say yes.
Okay. Night of the Sea Urchins.
I can't see them attacking.
Night of the Iguana.
That is the one that we watched recently.
Oh, wow.
That is a Tennessee Williams movie.
Right. I assume it doesn't have anything to do with a, what do they call it, forced perspective iguana at the front of the screen. And then
right.
people pretending
No, it's not a green screen iguana at all. It's, just a turgid drama starring Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor.
Perhaps shot in Puerto Vallarta? I think they made a big deal of it when I was down there once.
Oh, really? Yes,
perhaps,
I think it was, because it was at some old rundown resort or something.
Okay, I went there with my parents when I was like 30, and they were just like, they're just everywhere, like as seen in Night of the Iguana,
Wow.
70 years ago. But
that's King Crab levels of as seen. All right.
All right, Night of the Dribbler.
That seems too weird to make up, so I'll say yes.
Night of the Sharks.
I mean, I suppose it has to be.
Night of the Ghouls.
I would think that would be taken, yes.
Night of the Living Corgis.
Not even jokingly, I don't think.
Night of the Woodpeckers.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Night of the Living Deb. D-E-B.
Probably, maybe starring, who was that guy who was in Parks and Recreation? The kind of thin comedian guy. Anyway.
Adam Scott?
Adam Scott.
Okay.
A parody movie, yes.
Sure. Night of the Slurpee Monster.
So weird, I'll say yes.
Okay. Night of the Seagulls.
No.
And to switch it up, Rats, Night of Terror.
Well, yes.
Okay. two Riff Tracks movies at the beginning and end of the list. So
Yeah.
Night of the Lepus, correct. Made up ones were Night of the Librarians, Night of the Sea Urchins, Night of the Living Corgis, Night of the Woodpeckers, and Night of the Slurpee Monster.
Wow.
Night of the Dribbler was about a poorly performing college basketball team called the Watergate Plumbers. They lose their best players one by one to a masked stalker. Night of the Living Ghouls is Ed Wood, of course. Night of the Sharks was Treat Williams.
Oh, sure.
Also in Mexico. And Night of the Living Deb was, after a girls' night out, endearingly awkward Deb wakes up at the apartment of the most attractive guy in Portland, Maine. And then there is a zombie apocalypse. So it is like one of those Shaun of the Dead type of movies.
Okay.
Night of the Seagulls was real too. Undead,
Wow.
demon-worshipping Templar knights. I don't know what the seagulls really have to do with it. But.
Seagulls. Yeah, I wonder if at some point, like we had to do it for Legend Films, where it's just like write the copy for this movie and you'd scan it and then write just insane copy that had nothing to do.
Night of the
I wonder
Sharks.
if Night of the Iguana ever hit that, like where, like an iguana on the front attacking people, like that has nothing to do with that.
Right. Yeah. The text on the back does not match the what is going on the inside of it.
Sorry, everyone.
Well, to set that, Night of the Crabs is definitely of that ilk, and in the first 5 chapters, these pulp novels, they deliver what people want from them, and they move quickly. So there's nothing to really complain about on that front. There was crabs from the very beginning. The crabs attacked and dismembered people, and then there's just very much grafted onto it sex scenes, very much like The Room, where they have absolutely no business being there. It doesn't fit what the characters would actually be concerned about or worried about in the moment, but then they're just all of a sudden going at it on the staircase like Tommy Wiseau.
It makes you wonder, nowadays we always say that, like, someone will write into Riff Tracks, why did you trim out the hot tub scene in
Yeah.
Night of
the Lepus.
Night of the Dribblers, and you're like, do you really have to go to our movies to get? But back then, you would be a kid and like a high schooler reading.
Oh.
Like, I'm reading one of the Crab Attack books.
Yeah,
Mom.
lay off, Mom. It's
leave me alone.
Yeah. That Crab Attack book. Why are some of those pages sticking to? Anyway. But yeah, it's a pulp novel, and it's a lot of fun. But there's a lot of funny stuff about it so far. The main character is, and I went back to make sure this was correct, one of the leading botanists in Britain.
Yes,
he's
a professor.
He's a professor of botany.
Full professor.
To make
I
that
assume
clear.
he has tenure because he's over 40, right?
Yeah, and his no, he's not. He's 37 or something. we keep him making him older than he was because we imagine he is obviously a stand-in for Guy N. Smith, but who was a 70-year-old man when he was 35. But he is then called to a seaside town, Yarnvern. It's a Welsh town.
Yes.
Because his nephew and his fiancée have been mysteriously disappeared in the sea. He stays at a B&B where he immediately falls in love with a 24-year-old woman who's staying there. And they quickly surmise...
woman who, by the way, is quite free with her body. Pat, what's her name?
Pat, I think is her name. I don't remember what her last name is.
Oh, it's Pat. Yeah.
Pat has the suntan of a wedding ring on her finger, but no real. Do they specify that she actually had a husband that she lost, or is she just maybe getting her groove back and that wedding ring's in a drawer somewhere in her B&B room?
They don't really go into
that. But he immediately says, I think this is crabs. She does not run screaming from a guy who surmises that it's giant crabs. She believes him. They make love in the dunes by the Cape, and then they watch Bartholomew, who is essentially if Torgo sort of fell on hard times and really let himself go, but he's described as a beachcomber, and they watch him go down the beach, and the crabs come out of the sea and messily devour him, and it's the most horrible thing anyone's ever seen. And that's where the book led off last time.
Yeah, I think Bartholomew is like it's that scene where Gollum transforms into Gollum right before it goes to CGI Gollum. So they're still doing makeup, and he's all wet and like has a little more hair. That's how I picture, because he is living in a cave with a lot of water, and I guess he just sleeps in a cave.
Yeah,
he has no home, Bartholomew. I mean, he's dead now. I'm sorry to say.
Sure, and the townsfolk were sort of like just saying that, like, oh yeah, that's Bartholomew. He lives in a cave.
He's harmless. I mean, we have had quite a few disappearances in the area, but
sure, right?
He's harmless.
And that's a owner of a boarding house who's saying that. So it's like, hey, Auntie Mame here, you've got it's like November in a Welsh seaside town. You've got some extra rooms. I doubt you're really packed to capacity here once it's 55 degrees. Yeah, no, he's got his cave.
He prefers it.
He's happier there.
So they're in the sand. They're watching. After it's over, the crabs have messily devoured Bartholomew.
Oh, man.
And this is my first note: is they watch King Crab, the aforementioned King Crab. His eyes were on them, his countenance evilly bloated. And I'm stopped. I'm like, okay, what? A crab with an evilly bloated countenance? Can anyone? That just does not come easily to my mind. Maybe it does to yours. Maybe someone could draw a picture of it, and then I could go, oh, that's what you were thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if crustaceans have the sort of water-retaining ability to bloat, or if you could sort of sit there bloating and have it look heroic, like heroic bloating. It seems hard to imagine that as well.
I don't know, but maybe it's something that only he knew, because, you have the exoskeleton. So, boy, under the skeleton, I am bloating. I've got to change my diet. No more Bartholomews for me, I'm telling you.
Bartholomew, oh, that always just goes straight to bloating. Oh, I got to stop eating beachcombers. Maybe the inflatable cow guy, when he got stuck inside his costume, that he considered that evil bloating. The brig guy, I don't know.
I suppose so.
He had been down at the beach eating beachcombers as well. Who knows? But it then says that after he's sitting there, after they devoured him, it says of Bartholomew there was no sign, not even a splinter of bone remained. And then this is how our heroes react to that, because they've witnessed all of this. And then they hid from the crabs. How awful. The words came in a tortured gasp from Pat. She felt although she was about to faint. Uh-oh, that's not good. No. Oh, but she was glad of Cliff Davenport's comforting arm.
Oh, that's nice. That's sweet.
Sure. A steadying grasp from our hero. Together they vomited into the spiky grass of the sand dunes. all the time fearful that the sound of their spewing would be heard by the nightmare army of horrors from the deep.
Oh, I just think of the times that Bridget and I like held hands, watched a sunset, and then vomited messily into the spiky grass, spewing. Never letting go of our hands, by the way. Just
Simultaneously vomiting, like it's the pie scene, the Barfarama from Stand By Me. Lard-ass Hogan has influenced these people. So that's just we'll just keep that in mind as a shared action they've had as their relationship goes forward.
By the way, a pet peeve of mine in all modern movies, obviously I understand why, but it still bothers me, is that there's a lot of vomiting in movies. There never used to be. That used to be a thing. Like, people don't like to see people.
Oh, yeah.
In every movie, there's someone vomits. But they just hold something in their mouth, and then they spew out whatever pea soup or whatever. I was like, I don't know. We've all seen vomiting. It doesn't work like that. It's not just like a mouthful of... It bothers me as much as empty coffee cups. People always giving each other empty coffee. Stop it. Just put water in it. It doesn't have to be hot McDonald's liquid. Just put some damn water in it.
It's a surprisingly hard thing to fake, is fake drinking from a coffee cup.
Yes, I mean, they do it in every movie. Someone hands another person an empty cup. Just like, put something in it.
I'm picturing this like when I remember watching Saturday Night Live as a kid, and clearly in like 1995 they got access to a vomit hose where you just like have it down your sleeve. So like every sketch seemed to integrate that somehow. And so I'm just imagining that, just a comedic level of spray.
Yes. The two humans sighed with relief. They had not been singled out as crab food. I stop and thank God for that every single day of my life. It's just something to be eternally grateful for.
It's that was always a George R.R. Martinism, is, they fed the crabs either by dying or by like barfing over the side type of thing. So
right. Isn't there an actual crab? There's like a crab person who straps people to a reef as the crabs devour them.
Oh, sure, yeah. One of the Ironborn, I think.
Okay. I guess he's King Crab then. I had that wrong.
They might have to dispute it. And King Crab is pretty much the official name here. It is capital K, capital C going forward. So they've just started referring to him as that, and it's stuck. And I think he appreciates it with his bloated countenance.
He says it later, like, I call him King Crab or whatever. And, Pat doesn't do the kind of double take. Did we agree on that? I don't
right.
I don't remember. I had an entirely different... Oh, well. King Crab's fine, I guess.
King Crab is going back to the crab lair where there's like his buddy had been trying to get the name like Big Dom going or something, and no one's calling it that. And King Crab's like, hey, it was pretty easy for me to get a kick-ass nickname. Better luck next time, Big Dom. And King Crab is... he's instructed his minions to go back into the sea, but then he stands around with his bloated countenance, reluctant to leave dry land, perhaps gloatingly surveying it as a possible future addition to his watery domain. And I think someone online asked us if King Crab, if there was a consensus for best character ever. And I don't want to rule out O'Neill from Model Land, who he was the guy that was always like humping things in the air as his buddies laughed. But he's up there.
King Crab is good, but there's more characters coming up in this book that I would also like to point out. So let's not decide on that now. So they watch it happen. They watch him, bones and just devouring him, which a lot of the crabs did not get fed. So I don't know what that means, but whatever. She was trembling violently. Pat was. Oh, Cliff, what's it all mean? Is that really your first question after watching someone get gobbled up by a pack of giant crabs? The size of horses, we've settled on. Horses. Yeah. They speculated sheep at one point, but now they're as big as horses. What's it all mean?
Yeah.
Like, are you talking like philosophically, theologically? What are you talking
Why do bad things happen to good beachcombers? Are we trying to do that? Like,
I don't. The meaning I really haven't. I was thinking of running. I don't know.
Right. How do we get away from here as soon as possible? That's what it means. But then they go on to pose other sort of philosophical questions where she says, "Oh God, it doesn't bear thinking about. We can't just ignore what we've seen, Cliff." I really don't think that was on the table. I can't imagine to go about our day, sort of be like, well, we were going to look for sea glass tomorrow. And that was sort of our romantic getaway for tomorrow. But I don't think we're just going to do that as if we didn't see enormous hundreds of crabs devour Bartholomew.
So yeah, they hang out in the sand, and then do you happen to have the Cliff Davenport's response to Pat? If not, I'll just feed you. If you could play Pat here, I will read the response.
What is it to? What does it all mean?
Will they be back? Oh, have they gone for good? Do you think?
Okay.
Pat says that. Yep. So you're Pat, and you ask me, and I'll give you the answer as it is written here in the book.
Okay. It was ghastly, revolting, horrible. Oh, Cliff, what's it all mean? Have they gone for good, do you think?
They'll be back. Nothing's so goddamn certain. They've discovered a taste for human flesh and bone, and they won't let up now. So far, it's only been unlucky people who have perished, like Bartholomew.
Oh, I am trembling, Uncle.
And Ian. And Julie. It's only the beginning.
Just, do you have a blanket or something?
Did you see the size and strength of them? Imagine what they could do if they ventured inland in force.
Oh, vomit's coming
back up. That big fella wasn't just like any other crab. He knew what he was doing.
You mean the one that you keep
calling? He can think. He's capable of organizing them into a well-drilled army. And
so just you don't think they've gone for good? I'm guessing is what you're.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you ask?
Yeah. Were there questions that you were addressing? I'm surprised he didn't pack a pipe while he was doing that entire thing. That seems in line. Got to get the taste of that simultaneous barf out of my mouth.
Oh, I think again. I just picture the guy, the writer himself, packing his pipe and just hammering this out on his typewriter. Should I have Pat say something in response? Nah, I'll just keep typing.
Yeah, she's still trembling violently is the emphasis there. But then right after that is when she asks, we can't just ignore what we've seen. Well, we can't because, as emphasized previously, they will be back.
Yes.
They talk about, so he says, imagine what they could do if they ventured inland in force. And it's like, well, this is right on the heels of sort of, dealing with the Blitzkrieg. So I think we'd, have at least a bit of confidence we'd be able to ward off a few crabs. But I don't know. It bears out to be the truth. But then they head back and just to keep in mind that they have just simultaneously vomited into the dune grass. She's trembling violently. And then Cliff says, "You'd better come to my room," he whispered as they tiptoed upstairs. "I'd prefer you not to sleep on your own after what we've seen tonight." So Cliff is absolutely not missing an opportunity here.
That makes sense to me.
They stripped off and squeezed into the single bed. I don't think that means like a child's single bed. I hope that just means that there's only one bed. Even the feel of their naked bodies against each other did not fully arouse their desires. I would really hope not. I think they're in like scream yourself awake here territory, thinking back at what they just seen. So I don't even know why sleeping naked had to be the case. I hope she at least brushed her teeth.
Yeah, she's still got a little bit on the,
Yeah. Can I use your toothbrush? No, that's not. We're not at that level yet, baby.
But before that, he comes up with a plan.
Okay.
This is a great call to action. She's like, "Oh, whatever shall we do?" That kind of thing. "First, we must rest." He paused in the doorway of their hotel. Then, yes, well, he's the leading botanist in the world, so I'm sure he has some secret knowledge, and he invented some machine, or he knows like we spray them with salt water.
Ordinary table salt. Yeah.
Yes. Then, first thing in the morning, yes, I shall make a phone call to London.
Oh.
So We need to rest all night so that you can make a call to London in the morning. That's the plan. So I don't see a better plan. That
I've got to
really good to me.
Work up the nerves to ask the B&B owner to make a long distance call. She's not going to like it. It will be my card will be dinged for the incidentals.
Is there a coin machine anywhere around here? I need to go to that booth on the corner.
So after they sleep naked all night together, he wakes up and he does ask to make a urgent call to London, and he calls Greasydale,
Yes.
who is, I guess, in the Department of Defense. He talked to him in the last one, and Greasydale's upset that he's getting interrupted or whatever. But then he says, Clifford, what the devil's the meaning of phoning me at this hour? You what? Oh well, I suppose I'll have to listen then. Go ahead, I'll try not to laugh. For fully 10 minutes, Greasydale listened to what Cliff Davenport had to say.
I mean, I considered it.
Yes.
Of course, I'm sure you did as well. Going to the dark web and seeing if this existed.
It might be the longest dark web interval that we've ever had on this on the podcast.
I just wrote that I will record this. I'll make a pledge, and then I'll just put it as an extra. And if you want to listen to it.
Wow, yes. Folks, we will hold him to that. And here's what Greasydale's doing as he's listening. He ummed and awed and clicked his tongue, but he did not laugh.
Exactly.
He also one-handed fished a cigarette out of his case and lit it. So that I also considered replicating that and did not manage to do that. I don't know if I'd have the that's an advanced smoking maneuver, and as we saw last time, I do not have that type of chops. So
yeah. I would point out that I believe they just call her secretary.
Okay.
Says he does not like to be disturbed before 10 o'clock at the earliest. What the hell is he doing? This is a military man in charge of...
Yeah, high level.
10? What are you, a college student? Get up, man.
Yeah, sir. Like London
5 o'clock with the sun.
Luftwaffe sighted over London, please. It is 9:15.
Tapping his watch.
So once he's done listening for 10 straight minutes, he does say, I'm flying to Belgium tomorrow. Top level talks. No follow-up questions, Cliff? I sort of just let that hang there. It's pretty important stuff. Yeah. No, don't want to know. A lot of big shots in the room. You're not asking any follow-ups, huh? Can't say who they're going to
be out pretty early going to Belgium, as I said.
Yeah, your crabs are sounding pretty cool, but I do have some important stuff I'll be attending to as well.
Hello, did we get... Oh, you're there. Okay.
Oh, now you're listening for 10 minutes straight. That's
I see.
But he does say he's going to send Colonel Goode down, and immediately says, No, that's the best I can do. It's the only thing I could do, in fact. You won't like him. He's a sarcastic sod. I hate his guts.
I would just feel like if you're the professor, like, well, I mean, there's really no need to send. No, that's the absolute best I could do is to send this piece of trash down there.
Yeah. In fact, I call him Colonel Bad. That's how much I hate him. But no, that's all I can do. Since I am, as noted before, going to some pretty top-level talks in Belgium, which you don't seem to be interested in. But so. But yeah, Colonel Goode sucks ass, and he's on his way down to the coast. It's like you're sort of poisoning the well. I don't know. You don't need to lead with that since you're doing me a favor. But
I'm doing the best I can by sending this garbage person down to talk to you.
Yeah.
I hate him.
If he could, happen to wander in front of a crab, I wouldn't mourn it too much. And then he does. He sends Colonel Goode down. And he arrives, in Lonbetter. I forget how he said it. Ronbetter. He was a short, thick-set man, a heavy mustache adorning his upper lip, and his ruddy complexion had not been caused by the sun. Whiskey was his only love in life, and it was the uppermost thought of his mind as he got out of his car. So that's Colonel. I mean, he was poisoned against him, but I think this guy rules.
Yeah, and then a couple seconds later, this Colonel Goode says, "Well, I'm going to the village to get a drink." I think that was the second thing that he said.
Yeah, I think
and the other guy was like, "I hate you."
Yeah,
he just fully.
He's clenching his fists and fighting to control his temper. He's taking an instant dislike to this pompous individual. If you were doing business with someone and they were just like, "Hey, yeah, let's kick things off with a drink," and be like, "All right, this is working out great." He's not trying to like drill down and circle back on things. He's not showing me a PowerPoint. This is off to a great start.
We had a guy from Hollywood years ago. We took him out to lunch, and everyone at our table who was taking him out ordered some sort of drink, and he just looked around like it was some sort of magic trick. He was like, "What? Is it okay?" Like, you get whatever you want. How old are you? You know? And he's like, "No, just in Hollywood, it's like everyone like clicks their tongues. It's like very, very frowned upon." Like, that's a hell of your own making, man.
Right? Yeah, you're in Frondbadere now, baby.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Crack me up. All right.
And so he does. The guy pretty much does get out, say, "What's up?" to Cliff. "Peace. I'm going to the village to get a drink." The next time we see him, he's hiccuping and his eyelids are drooping as he stumbles back into the B&B and asks them, "Now, what's all this nonsense about?" So he's gone out and just pounded drinks before he's even asked a question about why he's there.
I will point out, though, that when they watch him leave, because he goes to Mrs. Jones' house. Right?
Yes.
And that's where he's like, "We don't have a license here at Mrs. Jones' house. Could maybe get you a crab salad or something."
Yeah.
And then it says, "He heard Pat Benson come up behind him, and then her arm slipped through his." Are they ghosts? Her arm slipped through his arm? So that was a twist that I did not expect, that one or both of them are ghosts.
Yeah, it's been haunted all along. They'll join the ghosts of his niece and nephew at some point in time.
That's a good twist.
The Colonel Goode essentially is like, "Hey, look, I'm not going to help you. Who turns down a free trip, all expenses paid, to Frondbadere? You have to be an idiot too. I'm leaving tomorrow. Order me an early breakfast. I'm passing out. Good night."
Yes. And they tell him the story, though, which he already knew why he was going, right?
Yeah, you'd have to imagine.
Like, "I'm sending you down to this thing to talk to a guy."
Unless,
what about?
Yeah,
he's got a crazy story about giant crabs. I'm not turning down a free trip, So, but then they tell him the story anyway, and he says, "The whiskey." Goode laughed unpleasantly. We already know he's unpleasant. "That's what whiskey does for you. Does it for me, too. I've seen those crabs on plenty of occasions, especially when I've been eating them. Don't let it worry you. They won't hurt you. And then order me breakfast. Good night." He sees crabs when he drinks whiskey?
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Full hallucinations. I've never had it, but
if they were just, be a funny thing for them to be like, and we've brought out Bartholomew's widow from behind this panel where she was hiding, as you said, that you likely think that Bartholomew's death was caused by whiskey, and she is weeping, "You insensitive bastard."
He should have then looked outside, seen the crab, rubbed his eyes with both fists, and then picked up his whiskey bottle, said a little prayer, and then threw it over his shoulder.
But yeah, he says, "Order me an early breakfast. Good night." And then Cliff is like, "Well, we're really going to have to do it ourselves. Like, London's not going to help us. Maybe I should go back there." But he knew he could not. He would have to see it through now. And besides, he wasn't going to leave Pat Benson on her own. Crabs or no crabs. Well, but it is crabs. So like that's the one that's on the table.
Yes.
The crabs are very much a part of your story now.
I know they really wanted me to. They do run into the Colonel at breakfast. I know they really wanted me to hate the Colonel, but it's kind of like, I don't know. He's kind of funny. The Colonel began spooning his porridge into his mouth. People want to learn to swim before they start buggering about in the water. Bring back conscription, I say. Teach them all to swim. And, he's kind of joking around while he's eating a bowl of crappy porridge in Mrs. Jones' place.
Yeah.
Looking ruddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't seem all that bad.
Yeah, Greasy Dale's the one I am sort of suspicious of now. If he employs this guy, but he doesn't like his yes. his carousing ways, man. Oh well, I think that's the last we're going to see of Goode, unless there's something a cameo, because he gets out of there as soon as possible, and we go to chapter 7.
A little porridge, and he's on his way. Yep.
Chapter 7 involves a army sentry who is maintaining the base with the unmanned aircraft that Cliff was taken in for trying to spy on in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of is like, he's just doing some general sentry stuff. Wished he didn't have the night shift. He looks up at the moon and says he looked up at it and couldn't understand why anybody would want to go messing about up there. Bloody crazy. He wouldn't have gone. Never knew what you might find pissing about in space. All sorts of weird monsters. Which is something I just wish that was like what how if Buzz Aldrin had turned down the mission to not be the second guy in the moon by saying something like that, or if that had been a line in 2001.
This guy had probably just read a Garrett P. Service novel. So he was like, sounds weird up there. I'm not going.
Ironically, the one he read was The Steam Man of the Prairies, and he just got all these weird ideas about the moon from that. Probably from the whiskey. Some people see crabs. He sees steam men.
I'm not going to stop pointing out these Britishisms, but he leaned up against the wall and delved into his top pocket of his tunic for a crushed pack of cigarettes. He's wearing a tunic?
He's dressed like the Link in The Legend of Zelda. He's an elf.
I just found that odd. I'm sure it means something else. Don't get on me. I know that. It just struck me as funny.
Yeah.
Take it at face value.
Is Cliff always wearing a jerkin that we don't know about?
Of boiled leather?
And then
go George R.
Yeah, really. Then have you read those books?
No, I have not.
You just know that's the...
somebody told me, stop talking about boiled leather. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a book for me, where he talks a lot about boiled leather.
Boiled leather was like a Kleinism goofy grin. It was like up there as many times as classic 80s in the Game of Thrones books.
Oh, boy.
The guy then hears a click, click, clickety-click sound and thinks that, blimey, those cattle had broken in through the fence. They were always rubbing themselves up against it. So it's like that old saying... when you hear hooves, you don't think zebras. When this guy hears click, click, clickety, click, he thinks cattle. So,
did they give the? Was it like? Didn't they give all the soldiers on D-Day? They gave them clickers to identify. Those little
children's toys. Yeah.
Toys. They gave them that, and then there was just a little code, like if you're a friend, how many clicks you did in response to the other one.
Wow.
So I guess they gave those to the cows.
Man, think about them going ashore in those boats, and just one guy won't stop doing that, just annoying you, just to do the thing. Would you knock it off, Paul? And so this next thing that comes up is the crabs invade, and we got some of this in last week's Wheeler fan fiction, where he sort of puts his dukes up to try to fight the things because the bullets are not working. He adopted a fighting pose, his fists clench. And
he laughed maniacally, right?
Yeah.
Before then doing the squaring off a guy in a bar kind of a thing. Come on, you mugs. I'll sock you right in the puss, I will.
He backed, the stock smashed to matchwood on the armor-plated pincer. He backed away, and then he started laughing. He adopted a fighting pose, his fins clenched. And he was like, come on then, you bastards. I'm taking you down with me.
And then... mercifully, the slashing claw of King Crab caught him directly on the top of the head, splitting his skull in two. I mean, it is mercifully. He wasn't a very good character. So talking about moon landings and stuff.
Yeah, worrying about weird monsters on the moon. He was not the Royal Army's best and brightest.
Yeah, let's get rid of him quickly.
It said he was dead before he hit the ground and escaped the torture that Bartholomew had suffered as he was dismembered. So even post a chapter later, they're still laying it on thick that Bartholomew really, really suffered as the crabs were devoured. Then it says his buddies did not recognize the last joint of human meat disappearing into the jaws of the monster crab as belonging to their colleagues. All they saw were the crabs, and that was enough. The writing really gets, for as sort of British and pipe smoking as Guy N. Smith gets, he does get pretty like metal as he's describing some of these devourings. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I was wondering too, like they look out the window and they see like giant crabs, just at the last moment and I just wondered, like, would I recognize your leg if it was being just barely sucked down by a giant crab? I'd probably be like, later I'd be like, oh, that was his leg? Oh, I feel like an idiot. I should have known.
Exactly.
Unless I likes those pants.
Had my Mayor McCheese Crocs on, you might have noticed that.
Yes.
It doesn't make a difference. If I look out my window and I see two giant crabs with a clearly human leg, it just really isn't going to make a difference if it's like, oh, that's my neighbor Ken, or that's just a random leg that I just sort of didn't recognize the owner of.
Right. So they open fire on them. This is the first, I believe this is the first battle. Mm-hmm. Now they all get battle titles, I think. They did not like the sensation of having things vibrating on their shells, though. It made them angry. Very angry. They didn't like the noise and flashes either. Above it all, though, they sensed the prospect of sweet, tender human flesh. All right, couple questions.
Yeah.
How do you know when a crab is angry?
I mean
he's devouring your guards and, messily chopping people's heads off and slurping them down. And then like, oh, now he's angry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, should I pet him after? What should I have done?
Calm him down. Yeah, it's a good point. Their behavior doesn't really seem to differ from devouring people to then devouring people once they've gotten angry.
Right. Like what's the gradation? Like, stop, we're making them angry. Like, they were doing this on their own. We hadn't fired a shot. But now you really got me pissed. Oh, okay. Well, you're still eating us.
And was your other question about how these British soldiers, how sweet and tender their flesh is?
Yes, that was my other question.
Yeah, that does stand out.
But they had, I guess, they have two examples of it. No, they had Ian and Julia.
Ian and Julie, Bartholomew. There's 5 other people went missing before Bartholomew.
Okay, so those people could have been sweet and tender. I just wonder if Bartholomew, like.
Yeah, you got to think he was pretty stringy
and sour.
Yeah,
kind of gamey. I
bristle.
Assume.
Yeah. His liver was off, so there was a lot of bile built up in there when they eat it. It was like biting into the nasty part of a person. Mm.
Frankly, it was just like the opposite of when you eat a crab and you just go like, "There's just not much meat here. It's a lot of work." Bartholomew.
Yeah,
he's just got no flesh, and the flesh that is there is like, I don't know, it's okay, I guess. It's not worth the work.
He's one of those guys where he's incredibly skinny, sort of Iggy Poppy arms, but then oddly enough has a big gut, so it was just disconcerting. Right. He was wearing a burlap sack, and that got in their teeth. I'm not sure, just like really.
Give me Ian any day. That guy was plump and sweet.
Oh yeah, Julie in her bathing costume.
Yes.
The crabs then knock down the guard tower. They just get the supports of it and just chop them in half with their pincers. And guys try to climb back up, but they scissor their legs off. And King Crab just sort of says, "All right, you've had your fill. Like, let's get back to the ocean." They have to listen to him.
Yeah, because at that point they say. They try to scuttle over the fence or whatever, and they snip him in half. And then it says, then King Crab does his thing, and they goes, half-eaten humans were forgotten. So, like, they're on the ground. They're like, I think they forgot us. You look down like, oh, I thought we had a chance here.
I'm not going to survive this one. I've been half-eaten. That's not.
Yeah, shoot. I'm half-eaten. God.
It probably is a payback for just all the times you've, tried to tuck into a crab leg and then gotten to the end and be like, I could really make an effort of trying to do this, but I don't know. It's half-eaten. I'm forgetting about it.
Yeah, you get the little flakes that come out at the end. Like, I guess I could, if I eat them all one at a time, it's not very satisfying. But if I save it up, I look like one of those weirdos who takes peanuts out of the shell and puts them to the side so you can eat them all.
Oh yeah, that makes crabs very angry when people do that.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed this. They say something weird about like the tide covers the causeway into town. So that might be setting up a future scenario where they can't leave town. And then it says, crowds gathered from the nearby camping areas. The majority were genuine helpers, bringing their own first aid kits with them. But among the throng were also the ghouls. Those who loved scenes of disaster, those who loved to gloat over the mutilations. So there are ghouls camping in this sleepy seaside town that love to show up at disasters and gloat over the mutilations? How do you gloat over a mutilation? Like, you call that half-eating an army guy? Like,
greasily rubbing their paws together like large rats. I wondered the same thing. Are these types of ghouls overrepresented in camping communities? Or is that the same as like if you just put an average person in a tent and then like someone messily devoured a homeless guy, then would you go like, I guess I'm one of the ghouls? I didn't know that until
it sort of just took this as an awakening, but I'm a ghoul.
Is there something about camping that's like, 97% of them, it's weird, I don't know why. They love to gloat over mutilations.
Better him than me, maybe they're saying. I don't know. We might need to watch Ed Wood's Night of the Ghouls to learn about this. I assume most of that plot is them finding mutilations and then gloating about them.
Sure. And then Greasedale comes back, and this was his pronouncement. He says, they got a hold of me in Belgium.
Oh, was he in Belgium? Huh.
Remember I told you I was going to Belgium for super important.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but now you're here. So
high-level talks.
Yeah, but this is okay. Pretty high-level stuff. This is pretty important.
We were right in the middle of discussing. All right.
It's not important. Yeah, I don't care who you were meeting with in Belgium.
Okay, now that I'm here and I see this. The fact is, this thing's serious now. Thank you, Greasedale. I'm glad we got you from Belgium to pronounce it serious now. Thank you.
Yeah, my nephew was killed 2 weeks ago, and that's why I've been here. However, it is serious now. Thank you. And that good guy you said, really great job on that. I'm glad you jetted off to Belgium as you sent him here to get tanked.
How did everything go with Goode?
How did everything go? Yeah, he punched a hole in the glass of a pinball machine in the town. Do you have any idea how long that's going to take to get fixed? We are in Jan-Veneer. They don't have a pinball machine repairman guy here.
He peed in the garbage can at the place that he went. That's how it went with Goode. That sounds like him. I hate him.
That son of a bitch. Yeah, if only I could do something about that as the head of the Department of Defense. But whatever.
Off to Belgium.
And this is where they... someone says... Cliff says this... they're a freak species never before known in history. We can do little more than hazard a guess at their origin. Underwater nuclear experiments in another part of the world causing them to grow to tremendous proportions? That's just a theory of mine.
Yes. It's just a theory? It hasn't been double-blind tested? There's no white papers on this? Just a theory. Oh, okay.
You're not a nuclear scientist yourself, and you're not a crab scientist. You're not a marine biologist either. Good. Glad your theories are coming into things here. Do you have your own YouTube channel where you vocalize these theories? I bet that would be helpful as well.
Pat's like, I don't know that we could say... Shut up, Pat. Yes. Okay. All right.
Cliff's just asking questions, people. Hey, is this nuclear things? Is this caused by... is the Titanic related at all to this? Did they bring down the Titanic?
It's the best we got right now.
So I assume, like everything else, Cliff immediately suspected it was crabs because he saw a marking or two in the sand. And he also is the one who nicknamed the big one King Crab, which also stuck. So I'm guessing this is going to bear out. especially because that's what happened. That's how Godzilla woke up. So we know that that's what happens in these situations.
Yes. I just can't figure out, what do are the planes run by some sort of nuclear, or what were they doing?
Oh,
I mean, obviously they're the cause of it, right?
Right. The unmanned planes. I guess that could be a nuclear.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they're doing something. Obviously, they're
right.
causing it. But
there's a domain being tampered in, and maybe it was the planes that were the initial tampering that led this to happen. Maybe the planes are dropping nuclear bombs. That could be it.
Yes, that's it. Great. Here's Greasedale, by the way, right after this, and this must be an attempt at a joke, but I mean, these guys are still, like, their widows haven't even been informed yet, but whatever. Personally, Greasedale interrupted, I think they bit off more than they could chew when they attacked the WD base. That seems kind of in bad taste, doesn't it, Greasedale?
Yeah, they develop a taste for bone, so yes. Pat has to be like, is there anyone from the British DOD who isn't a complete and total ass? Like, what is going on? I'm starting to debate the company you keep here, Cliff.
He is fully drinking a whiskey. It is 10 a.m. and he's
yeah, he is.
A mug of it.
He's smoking cigarettes as he's doing this. So maybe these crabs have bit off a little more than they could chew. Sunglasses.
There's the body of the guy being carted right behind him with his legs scissored off. Get it?
Yeah. Looks like that guy won't be going for any moonlit strolls. Give him his walking papers.
So he's bullish on the army. He's just like, no, they couldn't. They're like, well, they did, tear apart your base pretty quickly and shot at them, and it just made them angry. And he's like, piece of cake. Once they come, we'll just take care of them. There's nothing. It's easy. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't put paid to them, then the RAF will give them some stick from the air. They've backed a loser. Who's the loser in this?
I think he's calling King Crab a loser.
King Crab. I think it's a personal insult. I think he just slapped King Crab with his white glove and threw it on the ground in front of him.
Yeah, he's trying to provoke him because Cliff said there's a colossal crab that leads them. I've named him King Crab. And so that's who he's addressing. They've backed a loser.
They backed a loser. I mean, so far he's been quite successful.
Yeah, Greasedale needs to take it to social media, start a little feud with him, start making some King Crab memes.
Do a diss track of him.
Yeah. King Crab, the what are they? The soy jack memes, just like King Crab. Just. But then he says, okay, so Greasedale comes, calls King Crab a loser, says he's loser energy, the crabs are all losers, and then he says, I've got a meeting I've got to go to, and then we'll deal with all this tomorrow.
Yes.
So then Cliff Davenport leaves his bedroom after midnight, pauses outside of Pet's door, and says he knew that Pat wanted him to come to her, yet since that night in the sand dunes, nothing had happened between them. And it's just amazing how the most horrific thing you've ever seen can sort of kill the romantic mood in a relationship. Vomiting together just doesn't leave you wanting to go back to the dunes for round two. It's just weird how that works.
Also, how long ago was that? It wasn't that long ago, was it?
I think it says 3 nights.
Oh, well,
maybe it's no more than that. Like, they saw Bartholomew got eaten, and then the crabs attacked the army base the next night. So then it's the night after that. It could be 48 hours, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, Professor, I assume Mrs. Jones has a shower in there. Just leave it on cold and take a cold shower there, buddy. Calm down.
But
Give
yeah,
it a couple hours.
And it turns out that Pat was thinking the same thing. This is a family podcast, so we don't need to get into that too much. But she's eagerly awaiting him as they get back there. I like that we've described a drifter being his bones being shattered, crabs picking Bartholomew out of their teeth, and I just refer to this as a family podcast. But then, so Cliff sort of lets himself in, began to take off all of his clothes. At last, he stood before her as Adam had once stood before Eve, tempting her to tempt him. This is more your department, but this is not how I remember it from the Sunday school teachings. Adam wasn't sort of like doing like the, hey, Eve, you can check out that apple over there with a little flex point. Like, it's like, I don't know. You liking anything you see here?
Which way to Muscle Beach? That way, I think. Yeah, I don't recall that was part of the canon of Genesis. I could be wrong.
And then she says, "I've been waiting for you to come to me for 3 nights now." So that's how it how long it is.
Okay, there it is. I think I probably skipped over that once I saw him hanging it out in front of me. So,
and then they say they were lost in the moans and writhings of their united bodies as they reached the ultimate possible peak of pleasure which any man and woman can climb. So, like eating a Twix bar, is that what he's referring to here? Like that's about as good as it gets, I think.
Yeah.
If you put one in the freezer for half an hour and it comes out a little cold, that's.
I think like any of those things, people are always like, "Oh, I don't eat potato chips." Like they're the most delicious thing on earth. They're scientifically designed to.
Kettle chips, salt and pepper ribs. Man,
those are just like
the final.
You can't stop eating them.
Ultimate possible peak of pleasure.
Those pretzel nuggets that are coated with like just tons of powder,
honey mustard and onion powder.
God, I assume that's what he's talking about.
I worry that they've done something to the formula. I'm just putting it out there. I think they changed something in the past 5 years. The last time I got them, I was disappointed, and they weren't. I mean, sometimes you can't go home again, but I feel like that's I wasn't eating those as an 8-year-old and being like, oh. Trix isn't as good as I remember it. Those were I'd had those as an adult. So.
But I would just point out he makes a statement about like he's terrified to go in there because it's Mrs. Jones' house and it's small. The rooms are small. I assume the walls are thin. They already slept together one night before
in the dunes. Yeah.
Well, they slept.
Oh, right. Naked in the same bed.
But at that point, I assume no locks on the door, and Mrs. Jones just comes in. Thought you might want a spot of tea, dearie. Oh, God.
Oh, I see your writhings of your united bodies have not reached the ultimate possible peak of pleasure.
Well, dear, you young people, like a pokey wokey. All right.
I'll leave the black pudding for breakfast on the dresser, then.
Spotted dick? No, I was referring to...
Yeah, got what you were saying there. Trying to tempt her as Adam did to Eve, Mrs. Jones. Thank you. He then says, once they've gotten busy, what does he say? Oh, Cliff, Pat was the first to speak after some considerable time. What will happen when the army have cleared up this crab business? So just imagine if an army base was attacked by giant crabs, 5 service people killed, in addition to 7 other civilians. If the president then went on things, was like, yeah, as soon as this crab business gets cleared up, we're gonna just be raked over the coals. That would, that would be like the doing a heck of a job brownie kind of speech. But
right.
Like the crab business, I thought was very entertaining. If that had been the alternate title, it might not have sold as well.
And the assumption also that it's just going to be cleared up.
Yeah.
Like splitting your best soldier's skull in half with the greatest of ease.
Warding off machine gun fire. Pat, I don't know. But then he does say, we'll go back to London type of thing.
Yes.
And then the chapter ends with another solid chapter ender. Her fingers went down to him again in an attempt to arouse him a second time.
Boy. Again, we're a family podcast.
All the families listening at this point in time, you knew what you were in for. You got through Model Land and Hunchy.
Oh, that's a Grandpa No moment, though.
Yeah, really. Yeah, the crab business. Well, speaking of business, let's get down to business. That is the end of Chapter 7. And before Chapter 8, I think we got to do the last real or fan fiction of this podcast, speaking of getting down to business.
Let's do it.
Fanfic. Real fanfic.
All right. We are doing real or fanfic now. we ended the last note on the family podcast note. Our listener Heather wrote in to say that her son Billy, who in my mind has remained a bright-eyed, bouncing boy licking a big lollipop the entire time, he wrote in like about something in the original Grandpa Notebook, Trucking Through Time. She's like, yeah, he's going off to college next year. It's like, we've been doing this for a while. Like,
oh dear.
Yeah, I hope he brings his giant lollipop with him. I forget what his objection was to about Trucking Through Time, other than maybe just like, Mom, why are you reading this book? It's not very good. But anyway, this is Real or Fanfic, the segment brought to us by our beloved Patreon jackals at patreon.com/372 pages, where we recently did a Patreon exclusive Choose Your Own Adventure book where people got to vote on what paths we would choose of another a book that Krabs turned up in.
Yes.
Night of the Shark, or You Are a Shark.
You Are a Shark.
And it was delightful.
Couldn't have come out better.
there was a shark, and it ate us when we were an octopus. We did not make it to the point where we were a shark in the book You Are a Shark. And we read it for an hour and 15 minutes. So.
Yes. I believe we read 97% of the book. Somewhere in there. You Are a Shark.
So go over there and check that out on the Patreon. It's worth it. We're going to do 5 excerpts. They could be from later in the final third of Night of the Krabs by Guy N. Smith, or it could be fanfic written by our diabolical jackals. Or it could be a mixture, or it could be all of one or all of the other. Here is number 1. Cliff Davenport took a long, thoughtful draw from his pipe. Choosing his words carefully, he replied, "We have seen how futile our efforts have been when we try to use even our strongest artillery against them. When we do some damage to them, clip a few legs, crack their shells, they only get stronger. It's a scientific fact that crabs can regenerate limbs given time, so trying to blow them to kingdom come isn't the solution. So if we can't hurt them from the outside, then we have to kill them from the inside." "From the inside? What are you proposing?" Greasedale asked incredulously. Davenport rose from his chair. "From my work in marine botany, I've discovered that when large amounts of algae bloom rapidly near a nuclear reactor, they create neurotoxins so dangerous that even a small amount will kill within minutes. If we could somehow get these crabs to ingest just one bite of it, I'm sure their colony will be wiped out." "Problem is," Greasydale countered, "how do we get them to eat these toxic algae?" "Simple," Davenport asserted as he relit his pipe. "Last I checked, the local morgue has some poor souls who are looking to do one more good deed before they're let into the pearly gates."
Wow. Yeah. That is simple. Boy, I don't know. It's a little too on the nose. I'm going to say fanfic.
All right. Number 2. "Christ," the colonel ejaculated when he saw the packed line of cars which jammed the road beyond the first military barrier. "The stupid bloody fools!" He realized immediately how complicated the situation had become. The retreat would be hampered by the civilians. Already people were abandoning their cars and moving back up the road. "Abandon all equipment," he ordered. "Move on foot only from now on. Get a move on." The crabs had reached the road now. They were barely a quarter of a mile behind the troops, and they were turning inland. This time, they gave no indication that they would be returning to the sea after a quick sortie. People began to panic. Some tried to turn their cars, but finding it an impossibility, left them and fled on foot. Soldiers threaded their way between the vehicles, in some cases clambering over them. The crabs reached the cars. There was no hesitation. Metal crunched as they crushed the vehicles beneath their advance, flattening the various models out of all recognition. The shooting had stopped. Even the rawest recruit realized that he was simply wasting ammunition and losing ground by pausing to fire.
Wow. That is, that's grim. That sounds real.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
I mean, they all sound real.
It's pure Roland Emmerich, or who was the 70s disaster guy.
Oh, the Towering Inferno guy. Yeah. I forget what his name is.
Number 3. "How, Cliff, how?" Pat Benson yelled against the wind as the rising moon left no doubt as to the nature of the shapes rising from the sea and heading toward them. "I can't understand it. We'd best flee now and think later," Cliff replied, not revealing his fear that they were in fact too far exposed to find any safety. Still, he pulled her along toward a distant farmhouse, hoping they hadn't been spotted. The clatter of the clickety-click that reached his ears told him otherwise. He pulled Pat along faster, urgently tugging her toward their presumed sanctuary. He knew they were doomed. The crabs closed upon them fast, and they had just entered a large field where white bulbs gleamed in the moonlight, pushing out of the ground, ready to be picked. He risked a glance over his shoulder. The first rank of crabs were nearly upon them, and visible in the distance, the malevolent eyes of King Crab. "Run," he shouted, his only hope now that the crabs would kill them quickly. Still, for Pat's sake, he ran as if he thought he could get away, silently counting the seconds in agonizing anticipation of death. When death didn't come, he ventured a look over his shoulder, then another. Then he pulled up abruptly and spun around. The crabs had ceased following their prey at the edge of the field, snapping angrily and impotently. "Pat," he called out. "Pat, stop!" The girl did, chest heaving as she slowly turned around, her figure framed in the moonlight. Flustered, she gasped, "Why did they stop?" Cliff looked around and then to the field itself. He knelt. "I think they're having a reaction to this plant," he said, holding up the bulb. She took it from him and squeezed. "Garlic?" she mused, clutching him with her free arm. "Allicin," he explained, "a chemical found in garlic. I should have thought of it sooner."
Wait. Garlic bulbs don't grow out of the ground, do they? Aren't those the root of the plant?
I mean, like a carrot top starts to sort of emerge from the ground. I don't know.
I was wondering if it was going to be something that was in a crab sauce of some kind. Aioli.
Yeah.
They hate this aioli.
The butter is drawn.
I'm going to say fanfic.
Okay. Number 4. "Oh my God, Professor Davenport, is it you?" The voice was distorted and out of focus. It seemed to hover over the darkened parts of Cliff Davenport's brain like a moonlit fog rolling across silent black waters. He coughed out spasms of brine. What place was this? Where was his diving helmet? He tried and failed to open his eyes, then took a moment to wiggle fingers and toes. 20, it seemed, all limbs still attached. "How?" Now his eyes obeyed and opened. "Julie Coles?" "Oh, Professor, thank goodness." She almost laughed in giddy disbelief. A living, breathing Julie Coles stood before him in a ragged bathing costume. Her eyes were hollowed, her red hair matted and darkened, her left arm badly healing from 2 deep gashes. Yet no man could have overlooked the fetching curves to which the tattered fabric clung. There was a moment when Cliff began to grin with a rush of pride that his nephew Ian could win the affections of so lovely a girl. Then the horrors of reality crashed into his thoughts. He was overwhelmed by pains that racked his body, the heaviness of his diving suit, and the memories of the crabs pursuing him through endless mazes of underwater caverns. "Ian," he sputtered, and then rolled over to cough out more seawater. "I'm sorry, Cliff," she sobbed. He's dead. Hacked to ribbons by those damned bloody giant crabs."
Wow, tattered bathing costume. Oh, shades of Nova from Planet of the Apes.
Oh, sure, yeah. I was
How
trying
does
to
that thing stay on?
picture, yeah. How much of there's left to even be tattered away?
I think that's fanfic.
Okay. Number 5. Suddenly, a shape materialized out of the fog ahead of the train. Automatically, he started to brake. With an agonized shriek, the wheels began slowing down. Whatever it was still on the line, right in their path and refusing to budge an inch. It looked as though somebody's cow had wandered onto the bridge when nobody was looking. If it didn't move soon, it was bound to be run over. Stupid bloody animal. Trains just can't stop dead in their tracks. He could see it more clearly now. Christ, that was no cow. It was too big. Wrong shape. Fucking hell, he cursed aloud. It's one of those bastard crabs! The train was nearly at a standstill. He could see the crab, every detail, its face, its eyes. The thing knew he would stop. Well, he'd show it. His hand left the brake and returned to the throttle. Full speed ahead. More of them on the line up in front. Bloody crowds of them. Show 'em all. Crush 'em to pulp.
Wow. The face of the crab.
It's eyes, really. That's what
It's kind of like, speaking of, I think we've brought up Moby Dick a lot on this. Doesn't he talk about how you can't really, like, how do you look at a whale? Like, where's its face? You know? Like a dog looks at you and it's like, okay, I get that. But where's the face of a whale?
You sort of have to do a big loop to get to the other side. You can't,
Yeah.
If you can only look at one eye at a time, it's hard to look something in its face.
Right. A crab's the same way. Is that a face I'm seeing, or just kind of eyes at a bunch of like crab down there? Anyway, I don't know. I'll say real.
Okay. All right.
Low confidence.
Wow, low confidence. But let's see how you did. Number 1 was toxic algae blooms, and it seems like he's proposing to use corpses to plant them with to get the crabs to eat them. You said fanfic for that. And that was fanfic written by Bart.
Okay.
We got someone go check on Bart. That's some pretty grim stuff he's proposing here. But
Yeah,
hey, Bartholomew being crabs picking their teeth with his ribs is pretty grim too. Yeah. Number 2 was Christ the Colonel ejaculated. Roland Emmerich, disaster movie. You said real to that. That was real, submitted by Hayden. I think we can all assume that it was entirely because of the first line.
I believe so.
Number 3 was the patch of garlic and the Allison stopping the crabs in their tracks. You said fanfic for that. But that was fanfic.
Woo!
Written by Blake. Number 4. So 3 for 3. Number 4 was him encountering Julie Coles in her tattered bathing costume and admiring her figure, despite the fact that she is still has some festering crab wounds. You said fanfic for that. That was fanfic written by Chap 4 for 4. Yeah. And number 5 was the train conductor unnamed, don't know if he's just a random character we get or if someone we know takes control of a train at some point in time. You said real for that. And that is real from later in the book by Craig. That's a 5 for 5 on the Night of the Crabs fan fiction. Sounds like you're just pretty attuned to the pulpy writings of Guy N. Smith here.
Oh, Guy Pearce. You can really write a book.
Oh,
wow, yeah. I'm proud.
Yeah, well done. Thank
you.
Haven't had a lot of time to familiarize ourselves with this one, but who knows? Something might have stood out.
My gosh.
Congratulations. I think you did well last time too. So this could end up being a high percentage book, but definitely one that raised your statistics.
Dang, and unfortunately a short book, so it doesn't change my overall stats
by that much.
It's like a small winning streak. Like I went 6 for 10.
Yeah. You'll see a bump. At this point in time, anything. There's so many. I don't remember what the overall numbers are, but yeah, it's going to be tough to raise it. They've normalized, I feel like. Let's move on to chapter 8.
Yes, chapter 8 is, what's this character's name? It says it right at the top.
Sam Owen.
Sam Owen. So I don't know, this guy, like, as he's writing it, is he like, okay, I need another name. This guy's obviously not going to live long. I knew a Sam and I knew an Owen. Okay, tap, 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 tap. Sam Owen is his name. He says he's 42 and a strong, silent man. He lived for the sea, and his one wish, he only had one, so he didn't meet a genie, was that he would not die on dry land. When his time came, he wanted to pass away peacefully in his little fishing smack out on the open sea. He's 42, and he's already got his death all tidily wrapped up.
Wow, I got to get on that.
I'm way behind. I'm still probably not, sure I'd like to die with my boots on. We don't get to do that though, right? It's like,
but I mean, one, Smith is landing on pretty thick here, and two, with dying wishes. Two, aim your sights a little higher.
It seems
nothing
like
about
my one
Julie
wish.
Brown and her tattered bathing costume being, wish number 1. Winning the lottery?
Yeah, I wish Raquel Welch showed up in my... Nope. No, my one wish is that I would not die on dry land. So a little on the nose, but I thought that was funny that at 42, which now seems young. Have you hit 42 yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but my wish was that I would catch a skunk in a trap outside my house. So I'm sitting pretty. All the rest is gravy. Yep. I like this. He's out fishing, moonlight fishing. he does specify that tomorrow night the moon will be no good for fishing. He lit his pipe and relaxed. And I was just wondering if, like, the editor was like, Guy N. Smith, this character is a 3-year-old girl. You cannot have her smoking a pipe, too. Not everyone smokes pipe. No! Everyone should smoke a pipe. That's the way it should be.
Write what you know. So he's night fishing in this thing, and then he something big was in his net. So he said he had visions of hauling in another Moby Dick as he set about trying to land his catch. Speaking of Moby Dick, I forgot that was coming up. But really? Is that your probably your only reference? Like, he's as a fisherman, he's probably hauled in a lot of things that were a little too big for his boat, I would guess. So it doesn't seem like Moby Dick would be the thing. Like, he'd probably go like, oh, it's a tiger shark or whatever. Now, thrashing about. I've got to cut it out of there.
Oh, another white whale.
Yeah.
Hey, now you're always encountering those. Sort of goes against the whole point of them.
5 times as big as my boat. Okay, here we go.
So he should be one of those guys that's always talking about Moby Dick and clearly has not, like me, has not read the book and doesn't know any of the actual specifics of it. Being like, yeah, I don't know, another Moby Dick out there.
So he cuts it loose with his, I guess he has a dull pocket knife. Mm-hmm. Shame on Sam Owen for that. Keep that thing sharp, man. But the thing that he pulls up, of course, is the crab. And blood spouted into the night air like an oil strike. In vain, he grabbed at the stump and tried to stem the flow with an oily rag. Was there a can of oil on the desk of the author when he wrote this? Let's see, what else? Oh, oil!
Pipe oil. It's great for Meerschaum. Yeah, he's lucky his boat just didn't blow up from stashing those oily rags somewhere in the boat. They could have spontaneously ignited.
Do you know that's actually true?
I learned that just because you would make references when there was explosions in movies to piles of oily rags, and then I saw something had happened in Virginia or something, and I was like, this actually happens? They could just ignite in your garage?
Spontaneously? Yeah, don't wad up oily rags. That seems weird.
The metal descriptions of the violence keep happening. The blood spurted into his face, blinding him. The boat lurched again as a huge claw appeared over the stern, and 2 glowing eyes regarded the man who was now easy prey. The giant crab could smell blood. Human blood. We were
yes.
We knew where that was going.
He's the one bleeding all over the place.
And then the crab sort of coming up on the boat. He was going to die one way or another. He would either bleed to death or this nightmarish monstrosity from the deep would mutilate him and eat him. His thoughts turned to the sea. He decided he would die in the way he had always wanted to, with salt water filling his lungs and the fish which had provided him with his living feeding off his body. That's just, I assume a lot of people are like, I just like to be surrounded by my loved ones, singing hymns, my grandchild holding my hand as I go. But this guy, again, has already thought about it. Yeah, I want the fish to feast on my corpse. It's the circle of life, baby.
Yeah, that turtle's eating my genitals exactly how I wanted it to be. I wrote it down.
Yeah, and then after that, open casket funeral. That's also how I want it. I want people to behold the ravages of the ocean. But he's getting his wish. Did he parse that? Like, well, I don't want any flounder eating me. I don't like how their eyes are on top of their head, and I don't want any lionfish because those are invasive to coral reefs. Yes. No giant crabs, but puffer fish are fine. It's like you can't be choosy once a creature from the sea has started to devour you. I'm saying.
Right, sir. And what level of bloat would you like when we display your body?
Oh, you're referring to the countenance of the creatures that will be devouring me, huh? I prefer evil levels of bloating.
Yes, sir. I've made a note. We shall follow your wishes to the jot. So he decides to go down, and the crab grabs his leg or whatever, but he's like, nah, who cares? They scissored off my leg, and so I'm going down into the briny. Yeah. Davy Jones' locker. Here we go. He felt himself going down, down, down. He touched the bottom. This set me off. Like, how deep was he fishing? He was bobbing in an estuary, I guess.
Okay.
In the bay. But he's in, is it Barmouth? I assume it's pronounced
Barmouth Harbor, which I guess is a
Barmouth
real
Harbor.
place. Yeah.
It's a real place, yes.
I think this
is.
whole Shell Island is a real place, and they got angry at Guy N. Smith for writing this book set in a real place, just like if there was a real Amity Island, they would have been upset with Steven Spielberg.
Yes. But anyway, how do you, if you're conscious and everything and you are sinking, did he have the weights on his belt so that he would sink? Like, don't you usually just, it's hard to sink, right? You have to swim down.
Yeah, getting to the bottom of the pool takes a while and effort on your part.
So I don't know if he's fishing on an estuary here. Like, how many feet are we talking? At least 40, 100?
Oh, sure. I think to the point where as you go down, the pressure might get you to black out before you even. If you're just a guy who's recently had his foot cut off, it probably is going to knock you out before you even get there.
It was impossible. He tried to swim, so he just went down. So then at the bottom, he's like, well, at least I made it to the bottom. But then he's like, oh, there's all the crabs.
Who'd have thought that these sea creatures would follow me as I descended deeper into the more unmanned parts of the sea.
Against all physics, I'm going to sink to the bottom, and that's going to be, my wish fulfilled. Oh, son of a...
I like that this is what we're objecting to in the book Night of the Crabs, where the crabs have just done essentially ka-ping, ka-ping when they've shot the machine guns at you.
Oh, yes. I want my science to be correct. Come on.
Once he's down there, eyes were glowing all around him. Something gripped his neck. It was sharp. He'd once read a book about the French Revolution. It had said that the guillotine was painless. He would soon find out. I wonder what the book that this guy had read. Yeah,
Sam, when did you read that?
I just mentioned it. Was it Tale of Two Cities? It could have been. I don't remember the specifics.
He's one of those guys you meet, and it's like that book comes up, and then it comes up like years later. It's like, you've only read that one book, haven't you? I mean, it's a good one, but
did you read it? Or did you hear someone else talking about it and sort of picked up on the key points?
Oh, I like when you go to... Have you ever been in a house, like staying at someone's house, and then you're just like, got some free time, let's check out their books. And then you realize there are no books in this house. Where's your, just like your bookshelf? Like, we don't really have one.
We don't read in this house. That would be a fun thing to just like post judgmenty pictures of, like... the way that you could sometimes see someone checking out at the grocery store and being like, that person's buying 2 Celsius energy drinks and a rack of ribs. What do they got planned for tonight? Like, their bookshelf consists of. It would be a funny thing if someone ever like been like, I was staying at a house and their bookshelf had Model Land, Armada, and something called Trucking Through Time. What is going on with this person?
Luckily, I brought Super Constitution with me, so that was the easy way out of that conundrum. So now it cuts to, this is a pretty good beginning to this next section. At 1:25 a.m., the invasion of Barmouth began. Yeah, here we go.
And so now it pretty much morphs into disaster movie, action movie turf, where the crabs are invading. There is a tank full of guys manning the tank, and then they blast the crab, but all it does is like knock a few shards of shell off of it.
Yes, it says the creature had indeed struggled upright. With the help of its companions, it had regained its balance. Its eyes glowed venomously, and apart from some shards chipped from its shell, it appeared to be all right. I do like that the other crabs are like, hey, Ted, you all right, buddy? Looks like that hit you directly. Like, it's just a few shards. Like, all right, well, hang in there, man. Let's get back into the invasion of Barmouth. Sounds good, man.
Give you a second. Ted's like a football player who's trying to talk his way back into the game. Like, no, I'm good. Ted, you are facing the ocean, and your eyes are glowing venomously at a seagull, not at the tank.
Just point me in the right direction. I got it.
They then try to shoot king crab with the thing, and that's like even less effective. And he leads his army well in excess of 100 crabs. The clicking was deafening, mind searing.
Yes.
And I liked they're I think the guys are like trapped in the tank, and it says the sergeant says, "Shut up." The sergeant's nerves were stretched to breaking point. He didn't like the look of those crabs one little bit. Is it the look of them, or is it the knowledge that they killed 5 other army guys the night before? Because that would really be what it did for me. Like,
and also shooting one of them and watching him just get up and dust his shoulder off is a little unnerving. So he didn't like the corporal starts to panic a bit. The gunner's fist caught the corporal in the mouth, and his head hit the steel wall with a dull clang. He slumped back in his seat. It seems a bit of an overreaction. You could,
you're supposed to grab him by his shoulders.
Yes, write him up later. But then he does. It's funny you say that, because the sergeant started to scream, slapping his comatose mate frantically, but the corporal's head merely lolled from side to side. I'm fully in a coma from punching him and hitting his head, and so his reaction is just like,
keep slapping.
Like, why is this not working?
The corporal looks like Beetle Bailey after Sarge has stomped on him, just like limbs sticking out, and it's like, what happened to this one? The crabs must have got him. Yeah, crabs really worked him over.
He's got a lot of cross hatches on his face. Like, I don't know how those got there.
When the crabs attack him, do they cause tweeting birds to sort of fly around his house like that? That's bizarre, huh? That was king crab. King crab can do that to him.
Right.
And then,
so they pick that tank up and they just throw it over the edge, right? The crabs do.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. The crabs work together and lift it up, and I imagine them sort of like passing it down like a little assembly line, and then just like whoot, and then throw it into the water. So they're just having a good old time, like as they do this, like some frat boys tossing their motel furniture off the balcony into the pool or something.
Do it.
Yeah.
Should I toss it?
King crab. And I think that's they drown in there. And
they sink down into the mud, and they're dead. Yes.
Yeah. And it refers to the crabs as a column of advancing horrors, and we get this nice Britishism as well. Captain Oliver of the Royal Shropshire Light Infantry holstered his smoking pistol. It's like, well, that is another character who's just been introduced so that he can be killed off as well. His face was smoke blackened, speaking of cartoons, and his hat was missing. They had failed. He looks like, when a gun backfires on Wile E. Coyote or something like that.
The Shropshire, what was it?
Royal Shropshire Light Infantry.
There's a famous, I must have 30 copies of a piece called A Shropshire Lad that I've listened to many, many times. And I don't know where Shropshire is. So now I kind of know it must be right around that area.
Huh. A Shropshire Lad also sounds quite British.
Speaking of British, they're near an amusement park.
Okay.
Amusement arcade.
Yeah.
I understand what that is. Swings. I got that one. Coffee stalls.
Gosh.
Sure. Dodgems?
You should have been a nosy Parker and looked into that one.
It's a very common term. I had never heard it in my entire life.
Wow, you looked up what it was? I just looked now. I noted that, but I didn't look it up.
Dodgems. I assumed it was a misprint in my. There's a couple of typos in my. E-thing that I'm reading, and I assumed that was it, and like, nope, Dodgems is the second most common name for something we might refer to as bumper cars.
Wow. All right. Let's get British as hell.
I mean, that is right. It doesn't say UK when it says it's like bumper cars or Dodgems, as they're called.
No.
By who?
I don't know.
I've never. Have you ever heard that in your life?
I'd never heard it.
I've never heard it in my life.
Go stick your luggage in the boot of our Dodgem.
Yes.
Coffee
Not
stall.
the bonnet, the boot of your Dodgem? Okay.
It'd be great if a coffee stall was not what we assume it is. We're a place where you can buy coffee. It'd be nice if that was just what they called the ring toss game or something.
Yes.
The place where you try to dunk the clown in the booth as he heckles you. Oh, yeah, that's a good coffee stall, mate.
The crabs are impervious to fire, by the way.
Yes. He said not even fire can stop them.
Never try to grill a crab. They're impervious to fire.
Yeah, not even fire can stop them, Oliver muttered. It's as though they've come from hell themselves. So that there's always a guy muttering stuff like that in one of these movies, too, as the camera sort of does the rack focus in on him.
Yes, exactly.
And I just, in these movies, it's the same thing with Godzilla. It's like, if you're just immune to something, but you are an organic being, like, where do you draw the line? Can you saw off someone's leg? Like, at some point in time, these massive explosions just do have some sort of physical effect on things. And so what is preventing, in their physicality, from it blowing up? Are they? Do you make the whole Godzilla out of the black box? Is that how it works? Like, I don't know. It's just always. I mean, I understand we're again suspending disbelief in Night of the Crabs, but it would be nice to have a little. I guess it's just going to have to be nuclear to kill him.
I did see. I don't know why it had nothing to do with this, but I just happened to see film of those. What are the manta rays or whatever? They just go along the bottom, and then they just like soar over the top of like the group of crabs, like we're seeing right here, and they just kind of suck them up into their mouth, just like easy as pie. Just like, oh, thank you. No. Just, I just wondered if that was going to be the solution for this. Like, we need to make a bigger manta ray and send that down on top of it.
Yeah, hey, before we unleash this giant manta ray to eat the crabs, what's Guy N. Smith's next book called? Night of the Manta Ray. Son of a bitch! You're like, oh, like, go Australian rabbit-proof fence on them all. So King Crab at 3:30, so the 2-hour invasion sounds the retreat and says everyone back to the harbor, even though they were just really, kicking ass and taking names. I don't know why they needed to retreat. But then they give a press conference at Town Hall, and this is where
Town Hall.
Yeah, last time there was like a real fan fiction about this, where there was like, "Are you suggesting a nuclear device?" Like, no, I didn't say that.
Wink, wink.
But
I like that. When Quint came up and scratched his nails across the blackboard, I was like, "Come on, man, this is a little too." No, that doesn't happen, but it's pretty much true.
Y'all know me, know how I make my living, know what I was doing in Belgium at that pretty important meeting I was at. Oh, you don't know that? Well, I can't tell you. I can't tell you who I was with either.
My brothers and I we watched that movie. I was little when that came out, and but it was like the first. We would just like sneak in and see Jaws. Like, oh, his leg comes off. But when Quint he does the fingernails on the chalkboard, gets their attention, and then he's eating something. I became obsessed with, like, is that a potato chip? Like, that he's eating small bits of what? Y'all know me. I eat small bits out of one potato chip while I make speeches.
Is he? He's just like, so he keeps biting it? Did you find out what it was?
He keeps biting something that's so small, it's like a little white thing, like you can't see it, and yeah, that's part of his shtick. So I was always like, what? I just eat the whole thing. If anyone has knowledge of what Quint eats in
I mean, if there's any film that's been analyzed to death more than Jaws, the 50th anniversary, that's got to be...
Yeah, that's true. It is. Now it's on Super Platinum Blu-ray, so I'm sure we can zoom in on that and enhance and get the idea of what it is.
Let's zoom in and enhance on the mother of the boy who gets taken away, too. Need more detail there. We need to know what Quint's eating and what the relationship the old guy has to that woman who sort of accompanies her to the funeral where she slaps Sheriff Brody.
Yes.
Husband, grandpa,
father. So Greasedale basically anoints the professor as like he's the guy he's going to be, right?
Well, yes, he says this. We have us among us Professor Davenport, the well-known marine biologist. who had sex twice last night. I went back. I was very thrown off. He was introduced as
a botanist.
Yes, he may be. The nephew said he may be one of the country's leading botanists, but he isn't 40 yet, and he's referred to as a botanist several times. So unless he's pretending to be a marine biologist like George Costanza, I think he just forgot what a job he had assigned him, or if we're going to be very generous, maybe the plants he studies are algae and seaweed plants.
Oh,
and
that's
he's then
pretty generous.
Yeah, then he just says marine biologist. So you know about whales? No. Yeah, it's like I don't study the cool biology down there.
I thought that was the case, but I didn't look it up. I was like, well, obviously he didn't use a different word. I must have just misread it or something in the earlier. But wow,
yeah,
full out. Okay,
he just changed his profession halfway through, and I think they keep referring to that way. I mean, maybe they say botanist, but yeah, I went back to check. That's hilarious.
Wow. And then he gets his plan, so he's going to search for these things, and we're certainly not going to discharge a nuclear weapon, wink, wink, at these things. But here's another, this is British to me. He says to Pat, because Pat's worried, like, what are you going to do? You know, how you can't, this is too dangerous. And he says, well, I can't examine the seabed by sitting safely in a motor launch. He smiled. I mean, I can get it from context, but have you ever heard of a motor launch?
It must be some sort of dodgem. I don't know.
It is a waterborne dodgem. Who knew? No, it's just a boat. But I didn't. I thought the motor launch would be like is he talking about a dock? Is that? But that doesn't have a motor on it, so.
It's a marine biologist term, I'm sure.
Yes.
So one he would have used many times in his life as a botanist.
So he does. So that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yeah, he made a phone call to England. Now he has to get his botany degree all set and go and find the creatures.
It's one of those things where if you just, Greasydale's introducing him to the army and saying, we've got a well-known marine biologist. Oh, good. He must know all about crabs. Well, I'm just going to let you assume that. Yep. Go moving forward. This guy's a World War II expert. Oh, so does he know all about D-Day? He knows all about a specific time of... he knows about like a biography, a colonel who was part of the Africa regiment. So no, he does not know nothing about D-Day. Why would you assume that?
He does. Does he say something about like? I think he actually does that. Like I'm way in over my head here. I think there's some reference to it. I can't find it right now, but it's just sort of like, yeah, don't give me that title. I remember once in print many years ago. I said something. No, someone else said something about me being an actor at the Guthrie Theater. Mm-hmm. I was an extra at the Guthrie Theater.
Nice.
And they were joking and said, like, yeah, Mike's like a big Shakespearean actor at the Guthrie. And so then in print for many years, it was like, who once, trod the boards with the immortal bard. I was like, I didn't. I never said it. But
Nice.
There was no correcting it. You can't correct it. It's like, it's in print. It's said. So then people would go, so you're many, many years at the Guthrie Theater.
Well,
I didn't.
That's like the book we did. Was it Gump and Co. that had the blurb from Larry King on the cover, and it turned out it was a different Larry King?
Different Larry King.
Guthrie Theater once took the backstage tour as a high school student.
Yes. Anyway, that's him, the botanist who suddenly becomes a marine biologist. I never said I was. You said it. Then everyone's clapping for, okay, I'm a marine biologist.
Fine. If I die at sea, that's what I wanted, so it's not your fault. That's just my one wish. Thank you. Chapter 9 is the last one.
Yes.
And I think it starts with them going out. They're in the boat. Yeah, they're out on the boat already, heading out to sea so we can do some scuba diving.
Yes.
And as he's speculated that it was crabs, that it's called King Crab and he's the leader, and that it was was it nuclear energy he speculated? He says, Pat is like, I don't know. Why are you going down there? Like, do you think they all really hang out in one place? They could be living in dozens of caves. Somehow, I don't think so, Cliff replied. You remember that monstrosity of a leader they have? Well, he's got them organized at his beck and call night and day. It's my guess that they'll all be together. So it's like, okay, fine. I guess if that's your guess, that's probably the way it's going to work out.
Yes. He, by the way, in case you didn't know what their relationship was, he shrugged his shoulders. Someone's got to look for them. He smiled and patted her thigh. So there you go.
I'm glad his arm didn't go through her thigh.
That's right. One of them's a ghost.
That keeps going now, too. So it says, Pat stepped up to Cliff and their lips met. He looked at her. Clad in sweater and jeans, she was the most desirable thing in his life. More desirable than King Crab or Bartholomew? That's a low bar. He thought about what lay ahead of him in the murky fathoms. Why did it have to be him? Why couldn't he and Pat go back to London and leave the authorities to deal with the giant crabs? It's just a question that every couple has to ask themselves at some point in their relationship. You get to that, what are we? When are we going to move in together? Why can't we just go back to London and leave the authorities to deal with the giant crabs? Just milestones you have to get past.
Oh, that's was Bridget and I's meet cute as well. Like, giant crabs or go back to London? What's it going to be?
Your leashes got tangled as you were watching a drifter get devoured messily.
Yes. And then we threw up together. One of the guys who they're with, the speedboat guy, I think, his complexion was the color of tanned leather from a lifetime spent ferrying trippers between Barmouth and Fairborn. So not mahogany, it was tanned leather.
All right.
I believe there's a full range of colors that could be, though, right? Tanned leather?
Of course.
It could be almost mahogany if it's deeply tanned leather or darkly tanned.
Also unspecified whether the wind is responsible for the tanning or not.
That's true.
I think that was what got the other guy mahogany.
It is from a lifetime spent ferrying trippers, but that's a lot of breeze, so it's unclear.
A lifetime spent ferrying trippers between Barmouth and Fairborn sounds like the parenthetical that's part of like the title of a Jethro Tull song or something. Like that's Act 2, Part B of a Keith Emerson song. Well, yeah, so he's in the boat with them. The mahogany tanned leathery guy, as well as two other guys from the Ministry of Defense, have accompanied Pat and Cliff out because Pat, insisted on going so she could be ogled, and Pat had her thigh patted on the boat.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Stan Williams and Bob Wildman.
Of course.
Okay. I have those pegged as some of my favorite characters.
Oh, man. Wildman's here. Hell yeah. He doesn't have to get a nickname going. Him and King Crab have just had him assigned to him from the start. They lucked out.
Yeah, he's cracking an ale at 10 a.m. It's noon somewhere.
Oh, Wildman, yeah. Guys, I'm pretty concerned about Wildman. He's really let himself go, and the drinking's getting out of hand. Nah, that's just Wildman. That's what he does. No,
Stan Williams, please help. My name is Stanimal. Please be respectful.
And so this is obviously leading up to something. He was looking for signs on the seabed that would reveal the presence of a large number of crabs. Claw prints would be washed away by the currents. Looking for marks on boulders that would be caused by the constant scratching of hundreds of huge pincers passing regularly to and fro. After an hour, he surfaced. Nothing doing. So he looks for an hour, discovers nothing, and they say, let's try again tomorrow. So a great use of the audience's time here, Guy.
Clearly padding. But that's when he says, I think she gets him like a mug of tea.
Of course.
There was relief in Pat's voice as she helped him aboard, and handed him a mug of tea. Not yet, he chided humorously. I'm not sure the word humorously is exactly what you were looking for there. Not yet. What's the joke? I don't get it.
Yeah, your tone
I'm
was...
going to get you more tea. You're obviously something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Are you bitter because I didn't bring your pipe along? That didn't sound bitter when you said not yet chiding me, I guess.
You're not laughing. Did that not come off as humorously as I meant it to?
Nothing doing? Not yet. Well, why did you say it like that? I think you have the bends. And then they go back and start the next day. They thought that the crabs were inactive during the night, and someone speculates that they think it was because the moon was behind a cloud.
Moon, yes. This is moon-based. Have you noticed, is this one of those things like, you know how it's a false, you attribute something to something falsely. I forget what what's that's called officially, but that on full moon nights, like everything seems to be kind of weird. Like it's a full moon, but then if you check the blotter the next day, it'd be like, yeah, it's pretty much the same as every other. But people will attribute that to the moon. Like it's a full moon tonight. Things are weird out there. Like,
Yeah.
what are we all werewolves or
It's just
something?
Florida. That's all it is. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm reluctant to do that. I still encounter people in my life who are like, well, I don't know, I'm a Leo, so that's something that I would not do. It's like, my God, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I have that too. And then with any kind of like, wow, I'm pretty into it. Like, you are? That's weird.
I'm gonna go hang out with King Crab. I mean, he might messily devour me, but at least he's not reading Jacqueline Bigar's astrological column. So Cliff Davenport says when he's diving, he says other divers were searching as far afield as Colwyn Bay and Borth. He feared, though, that inexperience might cause them to overlook the slumbering crabs. How is the botanist criticizing other people for possibly being inexperienced? And why would he think they're being inexperienced? You need to know how to use this. You have to be certified to use these scuba suits. Otherwise, you're going to get in serious trouble. So they probably know what they're doing.
Probably. I looked up Colwyn Bay and Borth.
I did not. I was wondering if Borth was
Colwyn Bay was not far away from where they were. Borth is pretty far.
Okay.
But I mean, once you get crabs the size of horses, maybe they can run as fast as horses. So like, let's come down from Borth, I think it's a couple hundred miles.
Wow. All right.
Kilometers. And attack a town down there. Maybe they just I just really dislike Barmouth. So guys, let's go catch some Z's up in Borth, and then let's head down.
It's a great name. Where are you going on your honeymoon? Oh, we're going to get away to Borth. We are out of Borth license plates. That's why I thought it was a misprint in the thing, but that's great. So yeah, there's good. Borth is overrun with inexperienced scuba divers looking for these crabs.
Yes.
And he
goes down. He gets his frogman suit. He goes down. He finds a cave.
Yeah,
which is lucky. It seems like one of those caves that are in movies where you can just walk into it, and it's
oh my God,
a little door opening, and the floor. There's like a floor, you see jeep marks on the floor. So he goes into one of those, and below him slumbered the objects of his search. Hundreds of giant crabs all clustered together. So they slumbered. So I had to look it up. Do crabs sleep?
Okay. I would not have an answer to that.
Because they don't have eyelids.
Yep. Right. They don't have a central nervous system.
Right. So if I try
Sharks
to go to
don't
sleep with my eyes taped open, would I be able to do it? I don't know. Anyway, so this led me to, it was a quick search, believe me.
FaxKing.com.
Fax King. No, it was the Crab Museum. Which it seems like a real place. It's not anywhere near. It's on the other side of the aisle. Crabs, like sensible humans, do not glorify the grind. All right, so they value rest and self-care. At the Crab Museum, we support this ethos. Of course, sometimes busy schedules require an odd late night, but burning out doesn't do anyone any good. I don't like what they said, but apparently the Crab Museum does affirm that crabs do a kind of sleep, sort of.
And is the Crab Museum a source to be trusted? Because I went to their Instagram and they were just posting epic memes that were sort of crab related. That If you submitted them for your book report in third grade on crabs, I think the teacher might caution you to explore other sources.
Well, I think maybe the expertise was thrust on them just as much as to our botanist. Okay. We're the crab museum. Oh, you guys must know a lot about crabs. Know a lot about what now?
Yeah, I don't know. We got some pretty epic TikTok skills. That's all we do. So
we're just owning the conservatives, man.
But yeah, they are slumbered there, and I imagine that this enormous crab place, to me, it's like the Senate place in Star Wars, where Jar Jar Binks goes out to do a thing, and Natalie Portman floats out one of those things. That's just the size of the dome where these hundreds of horse-sized crabs are sleeping together.
Yeah, I'm picturing 4 times like a ballroom, just a giant cathedral ceiling cave, and all the crabs in there, right?
Right, and yeah, the film adaptation's like, Pierce, can you dial it? Damn it! Smith, could you dial it down a bit for us? As this is going to be really hard to film. Like, no, this is my vision. I get final cut on this whole thing because I'm Guy N. Smith. Damn it.
So he hopes that the crabs don't see him, and I didn't really understand the physics of this one. Is there was a crab that kind of like a crab sentry came in the door.
It's coming in behind him. Yeah.
Wearing his tunic and rolling a smoke.
I
guess I'm keeping guard on this place. But it was he said perhaps it was waiting, just gloating over him, preparing to pounce. Those crabs. If there's one thing they do, it's pounce.
Underwater pouncing. Gloating though, is he some sort of ghoul?
Oh, he could be. He's gloating over his mutilation. Sure, that's about to come.
Now I'm imagining the crab wearing one of those Wizard of Oddgard's furry hats, too, which is quite funny. He's also decreed, again, his botanist instinct has said all that would be required would be a powerful depth charge in that outer tunnel to bring the roof down and seal those freaks of nature in a watery tomb from which even they would be unable to escape. So once again, he has sized this up, and I assume that's what we're going to be trying to do to end this book next time.
He'll surface. He'll pat on the thigh, and then he'll set a nuclear bomb at the opening.
Yeah. Oops.
Crab's over.
I nuked Borth by accident. Oh well, no one's going to miss Borth.
So on the I'm sorry, what motor launch?
Yes.
Back on the motor launch. She says his oxygen must... Oh, no, sorry. She's worried about him. Stan Williams answers, his oxygen must be running low, said Stan Williams, the younger of the two, smiling and trying to allay her fears. I mean, his oxygen is probably fine. Smile, Stan, smile.
I'm bad at this, damn it. Why didn't she ask the older of us? He's
Yes.
much more experienced at allaying fears.
Wild man comes up like, hey, I'm a little buzzed already. Sorry, it's 10 a.m., but I think he's fine, man. No worries, no worries.
He's got the zinc on his nose.
His visor's on backwards.
Let's do some fishing while he's up there. Man, I can make a hell of a ceviche if I catch some yellowtail. Yeah, so Stanimal is unable to allay her fears by saying his oxygen must be running low. I think he says he must have 10 minutes left. And then he goes and puts his own Frogman outfit on, and he's going to jump out, do some searching on his own. And the professor will probably bob up any minute, Wildman replied. And I just imagine him at that point in time choosing to be like, he is a professor of crabs, right? Like that's why he's down there looking for the crabs. He's not he's not like a classic studies guy. Like, well, botany, that's closer to classic studies than it is crabs. Come on.
It's in the neighborhood. What do you care? Who else you got?
His university is accredited, right? It's not. Oh boy, self-deemed professor.
Stanimal's like, I've been taking trippers back and forth. I know crabs better than... Shut up, Stan.
So yeah, they wait. He goes down. Stan Williams goes down. It says diving was just a job to Stan Williams, like writing out reports or filing ledgers away. It was just something one did without actually thinking about it. So maybe go help him with those rookies that are diving up in Borth. I don't know.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And the professor, meanwhile, is... he assumes that the professor 10-1 had just discovered some rare form of plant life and had dallied while examining it, oblivious to everyone else. That was the trouble with his sort. So I'd like that he's got 10 minutes of oxygen. He's probably just found a new form of algae down there. It really just shows the how seriously everyone's taking this endeavor.
And then the chapter does end with this guy knows how to end a chapter, I'll say that. He reached the first bend. He felt a movement in the water. He held up his torch. Another Britishism. Mm-hmm. Professor Davenport had not taken as much finding as he'd anticipated. Yeah, he was in the biggest cave that was right below your boat. Then his relief turned to horror as the giant crab loomed up in the black waters. End of chapter.
Leaves me wanting more.
Loomed. With his bloated countenance.
The enormous Star Wars Senate-sized chamber. You'd think that would be something that this guy who's been ferrying people back and forth so much that his complexion has turned leathery might have known about. Like, just fishermen would you could have those type of maps back in the 70s. I feel like. Oh yeah, here's the biggest sea cave in the entire world is beneath us. Just be aware of that as you're doing your diving.
Yes. So that's our reading.
Yeah. Again, it's just a breath of fresh air after this. An email from a listener asked us. He said, Henry said, apologies for dwelling on the last book, but since Mike claimed again at the most recent episode that Ugly Love was the worst book covered so far, I wanted to pose a simple thought experiment. Gun to your head, if you had to pick one of three, would you rather read Bob Honey Sings Jimmy Crack Corn by Sean Penn, a sequel, Shadow Dawn, the sequel to Shadow Moon by Chris Claremont, or It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover? He said he'd take Coho all day long.
Well, I don't know that proves the point that I don't know that it disproves our point that it was the worst book I ever read. I don't know. That's a hard. I might choose the same thing, but that doesn't mean that that's not the worst book I ever read.
Interesting.
And because it's one of her worst books, right? Isn't everyone say like?
Correct. It was worse than It Ends With Us is the one that got made into the movie. Bob Honey Sings Jimmy Crack Corn is pretty short, as I recall.
I might go for short. And once you know what you're getting into, then you can just be like, right.
I suppose. Yeah, Colleen Hoover was not a long read, but yeah. Gun to my head. Give me the short one. Let's see what Penn has to say about this nonsense. Like, it's not going to make much sense, but...
Here's a huge difference. Do I have to read it for this podcast? In other words, I have to pay attention, or can I just read it?
Yeah, It Ends With Us you could knock out on a beach afternoon, probably.
And breeze through it and not even think about it.
Do we have to find some stuff to make it funny? That might be tricky for Bob Honey.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Well, I guess the answer is we don't know. But all right, let's end with some dumb sentences.
Dumb, 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 dumb sentence of the week.
All right, these are the dumb sentences of the week submitted by our beloved Patreon supporters. Go check it out over there. We got another 280 mysteries coming next week with a special guest. No reason to deny this one its due. I think at least 6 people submitted. Together they vomited into the spiky grass of the sand dunes, all the time fearful that the sound of their spewing would be heard by the nightmare army of horrors from the deep. Anne, Claire, Jim, Jeffrey, Chap, and Amanda. That might be the record. And I didn't even check the email this morning, so maybe there were more. Paige submitted. And besides, he wasn't going to leave Pat Benson on her own, crabs or no crabs. Paige also submitted the Together They Vomited, so that is the record. She said, these two sentences are great for the same reason. I cannot imagine any other book containing them for any reason. And
it was a good reason to read on, because it was very early in our reading. Yeah. And you're like, oh, good. Okay.
Janelle had He had visions of hauling in another Moby Dick as he set about trying to land it. He's caught another Moby Dick before. I mean, everyone has told fish stories, right? Like, he's like, it was the size of my boat.
Yeah.
It was literally the size of Moby Dick. Okay. Cameron submitted, the waning moonlight was in the crab's favor. Mike, Paige, and Brad. Oh, wait, damn it. I messed this one up. 3 other people submitted, besides he wasn't going to leave Pat Benson on her own, crabs or no crabs. I think Mike said, why would he not leave her on her own in the absence of the giant crabs? Does she have a tendency to wander into traffic or lick light sockets or something? We all know what she does when she's alone based on what we read at the end of that chapter. Yeah. Harris said, did that answer your question? He murmured, but her reply was lost in the moans and writhings of their united bodies as they reached the ultimate possible peak of pleasure any man and woman can climb. He said, can Matt Berry do the audiobook? 2 people made, what can we do in the shadows references to this. And I've not seen the show, so I don't know if there's a specific, what Matt Berry is doing here. But anyway, if you understand it, hopefully that's funny to you.
I can hear it in his voice. I don't know the specific reference.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nathan submitted, at last he stood before her as Adam had once stood before Eve, tempting her to tempt him. Josh submitted, they've discovered a taste for human flesh and bone, and they won't let up now. And he said, the aside about bones put this one over the top. And how does he know they'd like bone as much as flesh? It seems like a jump to me. Craig and John submitted, he decided he would die in the way he had always wanted to, with salt water filling his lungs and the fish that had provided him with his living feeding off his body. And it says, not only is it dumb, it's almost a challenge to come up with even more preposterous ways to die like you always wanted to. And John said he had always wanted that, peacefully in his bed, never once entered into the equation. Elliot submitted, Christ fucking crabs. Heather submitted, they appeared to have withdrawn into their shells. And she said, Guy, my man, that's a turtle, not a crab. So maybe that's how he sleeps in his mind. Maybe their eyes retreat like that. Everyone, Rick submitted, everywhere people were fleeing in panic. And Rick seemed to think that was a Kleinian thing. He said, allow me to fix that for you, Guy and Klein. People panicked and scattered in all directions. George submitted, the fact that she was not doing anything at all made her feel totally helpless. Bart and Katie submitted, his face was smoke blackened and his hat was missing. Andrew submitted, his eyes were on them, his countenance evilly bloating. And he said, I'm not sure what the difference between good bloating and evil bloating is. Will and Amy both submitted, I've named him King Crab. And this is I don't remember. He says, Will submitted, as sentences go, it's not the dumbest, but it did make me laugh out loud because it made me think of Mike's story about the nickname his friends had come up with for their crabby baby, where we call him Crabby Baby. He said that story makes me laugh every time I hear it. And Amy pointed out that it's not exactly a creative name. It's also the name of an actual type of crab. It's
that's true.
Possibly the most famous and desirable type of crab. Hayden submitted, yet somehow it was like being hypnotized. And he said, this isn't Cliff's interior dialogue. It's the omniscient narrator. And if you try to figure out what the it is in the sentence, you will descend into madness because the narrator hasn't experienced anything yet. And he says, Alejandro said, the two humans sighed with relief. He said this sentence was written by an alien or perhaps a large mutant crab. And Todd submitted, he's simultaneously reading Crab's Moon, which I think he said was the second book in the series. In the Crab series by Guy N. Smith. It seems like going to the moon that's like the last resort. That's like the 9th Friday the 13th movie, not the second one.
Crab's Moon?
Yeah.
Well, the guy luckily got his head cleaved in half. The guy who was afraid of moon monsters. He would have hated. I'm assuming it's about the moon influencing their attacks and not them going to the moon?
I guess perhaps. It also appears to be the 5th book in the series, so he's reading them out of the...
okay. Well, then maybe they do go to the moon.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, Leprechaun goes to the moon kind of a thing. It's the 5th one. Let's shoot him up to the moon.
Yeah, come on. They've got to take Manhattan before they can go to the moon.
Exactly.
But from Crab's Moon, his sentence he submitted was, the two humans froze in their posture of intercourse, And he said he pictured Nador from What We Do in the Shadows saying this. So I don't know if that is that's a different character from What We Do in the Shadows. But evidently, this is reminding people a lot of that movie or TV show. I forgot to pick one, but it would have been one of the ones that was already covered.
Mine were mostly covered, but I do like the one about, there it is. Half-eaten humans were forgotten.
Mistakes were made.
In isolation, it's passive sentence. Half-eaten humans were forgotten. Mr. President, can you comment on the things that are happening around the release of the... Look, half-eaten humans were forgotten.
No more questions. Thank you. My secretary will deal with the rest of this. We can only hope. Well, I'm excited to see what happens. Nuclear bombs, crabs getting exiled to the moon, more making love in the dunes by the Cape. Who's to say?
I'm assuming all of that and more. Do you want to guess it? I mean, there's not much left. There's only one reading left, right?
Yeah, right. We're going to finish the book.
I'm assuming it's the cause of the crabs is the planes, or there's been no other thing, right?
It has to be, and that has to be what they use to drop the bomb, the unmanned plane, because the crabs are probably going to take at least one plane out of the sky, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing so. Okay, so that's our guess. That's probably nothing.
King Crab popping up as an epilogue. You know, his claw slowly rises from beneath the...
Does the professor get into an actual fight with King Crab? Does he? I feel like he has to. Doesn't he have to fight the king at some point?
Yeah,
he's on him, and does he have a rifle or his special knowledge of botany? He gives him a plant or
If he went back to being a botanist in part 3, that would be pretty great too. Just completely forgetting that he had been deemed a marine biologist for the middle third of the book.
Anyway, if you have any speculation, let us know. But thank you. And
thank you.
Read along on this one.